We'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off today. I'd like to apologize for those that were on last week's webinar. I was traveling during, I think, the busiest travel day in the history of the United States of America. So that was a fun day, but I do apologize. I got stuck in TSA and couldn't leave, couldn't get online. So we'll make up for it today and always on the following webinars. But today's webinar is going to be covering Speco RMR Opportunities. Today, a few things we'll be covering will be industry standards. We'll be showing you a little bit about the cloud, the dashboard, and a few other RMR opportunities with Speco. And we'll be talking through mainly what some other dealers are doing across the country. Myself, I'm the national trainer for Speco, and I have the opportunity and the privilege to travel around and meet some of the smallest and biggest dealers in the country, some of the smallest and largest distribution channels in the country. And it's very unique because I get to find out what other people are doing, what's working. I get to find out what they like about our product, what things that they like to see different. And we always get to communicate and try to make Speco continuing to be a better product for you and everybody in the market. So today's webinar, everybody should see my screen here. First we're going to talk a little bit about what other people are doing and what other dealers are doing in the country. And as a whole, everybody is pretty familiar with the general maintenance, which previously it was more on a maintenance camera level. And, previous maintenance agreements for camera systems really where we'll come out to your site, make sure all your cameras are working once a month. We will clean your lenses. We'll make sure everything's aligned, things that usually shouldn't have to be. It's a quick trip, walk around. As cameras have advanced in the industry and cameras, recorders, platforms from Speco, we're able to take what was an industry standard and make that more for the dealer. But also, when somebody says they're going to give the end user more, it's usually labor intensive or there's more work on the dealer side. But what Speco really focuses on in our roadmap and our path is towards things that actually make the dealer more money, by being able to offer a service to end users. And then as a dealer, really by utilizing the dashboard, utilizing some of the things we have in place, you have easier access into that customer's account where you don't have to roll a truck out. Because everybody, the biggest thing that I hear across the country is that, the average cost of maybe to roll a truck could be anywhere from 120 to 160 bucks just to have that truck leave the office. And on a call that you might go out, where it really starts to be cumbersome is when that one tech goes out for one day, a few hours, doesn't solve the problem or finds out what the problem is, and then needs to order another camera, order some parts, and then has to go back out again. So, it's very difficult to bill a customer, $1,000 to go out and say, okay, your camera is bad, we need to change it out. So there's a lot of lost revenue on dealers. So the number one thing that I hear across the country is we need to find ways to not roll trucks out. And this was something that Speco listened to probably close to a year ago and started the development of the dashboard. And the biggest form of maintenance agreement servicing from Speco now is from our dashboard. And you will see if we go to the SecureGuard dashboard, which is located at speco-cloud. And today's webinar is not going to be on the dashboard. We're going to quickly cover how these different products allow you more RMR opportunities and how to utilize the platforms that I'm going to show you or the products. So it'll be probably a 30-minute webinar today. It won't keep you on long. So for those that are already familiar with the dashboard, I don't want you to think that this is going to be all dashboard related. So once we log into our dashboard, we're going to talk about different RMR opportunities. So the first one's is maintenance agreements on cameras and recorders. We talked previously about the industry standard in the past has been, simple maintenance agreements that were more of a cleaning, more of a going out. If you have an issue, you can build in labor into that maintenance agreement. We'll come out and fix it. Well, when you start building those labor hours in, if it's costing you 4 or 5 extra hours to go out to a job to figure out what's wrong and you're building that in, you're getting that money, but that's still time wasted that you could be making money on new installs. So what we're seeing a lot of is blanket maintenance agreements that cover not only we will come out if your cameras need to be serviced, you can add on labor to that, but we're able to tell from the dashboard a few different things. We're able to tell first, is that recorder online? Because the number one use of recorders is connecting to your mobile app. Everybody does it. That's the number one thing that most people want to see is most end users don't use the recorder near as much as they do the mobile app. So with Speco's mobile app, it's easy to use, easy to navigate, and easy to access. But with the dashboard, so we have the ability to be able to tell you if that site is online or that site is offline, because every dealer on here has got the call that says my recorder's not working, my camera system's broke. And then when you talk to that customer a little bit more, you find out that no, their IP address has changed and they just don't have access to their recorder. So Speco does a few things to be able to combat that for you. The first one is by utilizing our QR code point-to-point communications. That recorder will always be online regardless of the network. But if that recorder were to go offline, then what the dashboard is able to do is tell you that recorder is offline. So as you'll see here that I have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 accounts on my dashboard here, and my LPR demo site is offline. I saw that when I first logged on here. So if this is a maintenance customer, I'm able to call that customer and say, hey, it looks like your recorder is offline. Do we need to send somebody out, or can you check to make sure that your internet is working? So, a way to be able to proactively reach out to that customer instead of that customer having to call you and say my camera system's broke. So that's one form that the dashboard is able to do. And what we're actually seeing is that a lot of dealers are doing different levels of maintenance agreement, kind of a la carte. So if you want to know if your recorder goes online or offline, great. All you got to do is add that service. And if it goes offline, we'll notify you within 24 hours and set up an appointment to come out and get it fixed or to work with you to get it back online. The second one is hard drive checks. Now, the hard drive is the life of every recorder out there, no matter what system you're using. Without a hard drive, your cameras are just live view only, or that recorder is not working at all. So if we select a certain account, you will notice here that, let me let this account pull up. I have this healthcare option here. So if I select that healthcare, it's going to bring me into 2 more levels of the a la carte maintenance agreement that we're seeing. The second form is, do you want to add a hard drive check to this maintenance agreement? Great. It's an extra $2 a month per recorder. So a minimal price, but obviously the whole point with the RMR is you're making money while you're sleeping. So the dashboard is going to tell you if this hard drive is having issues, and then what is the situation of that hard drive, which we're seeing here. Good. There's a third level too that's really adding a lot of benefits and opportunities, is the ability to be able to do camera level notifications if cameras go down. By default, the dashboard camera notifications are not turned on. I will show you briefly, if you want to turn those on, how you do that. But what we're seeing as far as on the RMR side is that if you want to add maintenance agreement on the camera level and not so much a recorder level, great. It's an extra $2 a camera. It's $1 a camera. It's $3 a camera. It's $5 a camera. Every market's different. I've seen anywhere from $1 to $20 a camera a month, depending on what you're offering that customer. And where the dashboard is great is that we're seeing the camera, what it's named in the system. And I always repeat that every job you go to, name every camera. Because if I have a tech coming out and they say my camera 1's not working anymore, great. I can come to the dashboard and know that's my front door entry camera. Obviously, I named it with the model number, but I would still see the model number here. I can see that device is online and then the local IP address. So I'm able to tell my tech that's going out, if he needs to go out, hey, you're looking at the front door entry camera. This is the camera model. So if we want to send an extra camera with him, he knows exactly what to take. But we're able to be, again, proactive about the information that technician is going to have before he goes out. We're going to be proactive about the problem happening. And then we're going to be able to react and call the customer and say, hey, you have this issue going on. Would you like us to schedule to have somebody come out? So by default, I said that the camera level notifications are not turned on. If you want to turn those on, quick way to do it is go into the username. I'm going to go into the user manual there. And I think about page 60 starts setting up your SMTP information in the recorder, because what we're doing is actually using the recorder to talk out to the dashboard. And we give you a default SMTP server. If you have your own, or if you wanted that notification to go to your monitoring station, or you wanted to go to something else that required an email, you can always use your own SMTP. But for standard installs, if you want it to come directly to the dashboard, you're going to use this SMTP server information and then follow the next 5 or 6 steps in the recorder to be able to set that up. And that's going to give you camera level notifications. And then you can also disable the exception if there's an issue with that channel. If that customer said, hey, I don't want you to come out and fix it right now, we're aware of it. You can also disable that notification as well too there if you follow the steps. So 3 levels of kind of a la carte there. Is the recorder online? Is my hard drive working? And are my cameras online and are they working? So, and as you can see, if we're getting, let's say we're getting $2 a month to tell them if their recorder goes offline, we're getting another $2 a month to tell them if their hard drive goes on, and then they've got 16 cameras, $1 a month. You know, we're at 16, 17, 18, 19, $20 a month. The recorder, this cost you $1 a month per recorder from Speco to add it to the dashboard, so you're making $19 a month. You know, and that's me giving you the very lowest level of what I've seen nationally that is being charged, the very lowest level. But easy way to add RMR opportunities to your job there through the dashboard as far as what a la carte options you have. Now, one other interesting thing that I've seen done is we also have the ability to be able to turn on and off AI functions. So we have line crossing, facial recognition, license plate recognition, and intrusion. We can also add that option to that customer's a la carte meal, is that if you want to add license plate recognition to this camera, if you want to turn on the people detection, the facial recognition, just because a feature is built into a camera doesn't mean that it doesn't require programming. And that is the way that it's being sold, is that you're paying for the programming of the analytics when you need them. So if you have a camera that you want to turn the analytics on, if I've already programmed it, which what I've seen one dealer do is they'll program the front door camera, they'll program the LPR camera, and then they will actually turn it off. So it's already programmed. But if we were to come in here and just activate that channel, whatever we had previously programmed is going to activate on the system. So there's multiple ways to do this, but I can also come in if this customer wants to add an analytic to one of the cameras, they want to change an analytic. I do have the capabilities too of coming into that same and then connecting to that site and manually changing the analytic live too. Drop the. Oops. I'm going to bypass this now because I'll have to enter in my admin credentials, but you do have the capabilities of utilizing the connect feature and then directly getting into that recorder and either manually power cycling cameras that are down. You have the ability to be able to change network settings. You have the ability to be able to change any user settings that you would directly from the recorder, which allows you another opportunity to not roll a truck out. So again, to kind of recap the dashboard, RMR opportunities here. You're looking at the connect feature to be able to live remote in and manage a site. So there is one a la carte option for dealer remote support. We have the healthcare options that you can a la carte the hard drive, the cameras, and then the recorder online or offline status. And then you can pair it in with the ability to be able to turn on and off the AI functions. So if that client were to not want to continue a service and you did not want to remote in their unit to turn it off, you do have the capabilities of remotely turning off any of the AI functions directly from the dashboard itself. We will be having another release of the dashboard very shortly that will allow you to be able to set up different sub-level users. So for larger accounts, if they have 10, 15, 20 sites out there, they might have an IT company that manages the cameras after you have them installed. It is something that you can also sell that login credentials to as a RMR service, where you set them up a sub-level account, give them access to only their sites. And then when they log in, they're only going to see the sites that you gave them access to. I can't demo this now. I expect this to come out in the next, I'd say within this quarter. Probably wait for that. But again, that's product engineering. So once they're ready to release that, they'll release it. But it is something that's coming down the pipeline very, very shortly that will allow you another opportunity to not only expand the dashboard to not only you, but to different people in your company or out in the field. So this is the dashboard. If anybody has any questions as we move forward today, just drop in here to the Q&A or the chat box and ask your questions. And as I see them pop in or when we're done, we'll kind of address them and get them going as we move along. Last thing is you do have the ability to, there's a lot of sites that, especially commercial, industrial, if they have high turnover, they're always wanting users added. That's another service too, and that can be bundled into the remote management option, is the ability to be able to add and remove users remotely without them having to do it. So, before it was cumbersome to remote into a unit, add a user. Now you can do it directly from the dashboard. So the next thing we're going to show is we're going to talk a little bit about the cloud option. And before I actually dive deep into the cloud, because the cloud is a growing industry, no matter what manufacturer you are, you always have those customers who want things stored on the cloud for the simplicity of it, and you always have those dealers who it's one less step in the installation process, because with our Cloud Connect cameras, all we're doing is selecting one of our applicable cloud cameras, which I'm going to get into now here by going to solutions. And I visited with somebody last week who really asked me, Daniel, how can we find a better way to be able to kind of search through the cameras? Because we do offer a robust product line, and we are making some changes now internally to be able to make the camera navigation a little bit simpler, or a lot simpler. And when I was talking with that dealer, a lot of what we came out of it with was that, yes, we carry about every product, every camera that you could ever need for whatever the situation. As a dealer, if you're logging in, how do we make this a little bit easier? And what really came up with was, if you come into solutions, like now I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about the cloud, right? So what I'm trying to get to is, I want to know what cameras that I can use to be able to sell a customer to attach to the cloud without having to navigate, our other 50 product lines. So it's really about coming to the solutions and finding the solution that is applicable to your install. So for this particular one, I was going to Speco Cloud. You'll see now we're going to get the literature that you're going to have to roll through here that tells you a little bit about the cloud. But again, it's not cumbersome. It's very straightforward. Easy access to the Speco Cloud app here. So if you need to download that, or an end user needs to download that, there's a link here for both Apple Play Store and Google Play Store. But what I really wanted to show you here was see Speco Cloud compatible cameras. So if we select that, what it's going to do for you, it's going to really take this search, and you'll see here that even if I went through the IP cameras and I filtered video and cloud capable, compatible, I'm going to get that same option. But again, this does it for me, and I don't have to know any of these things to be able to find what I'm looking for. So now what we're going to see here is, again, a very robust product line of cloud capable cameras. But I know if I do my shopping from this list here, that any of these cameras that I'm selecting are going to be cloud capable. And with our cloud, and this isn't really a sales webinar, it's really more about talking about our RMR opportunities. If you're not currently selling the Speco Cloud cameras or the Speco Cloud service, either reach out to myself directly, reach out to one of our regional sales guys, or reach out. We will put you in touch with somebody who will get you pricing and who will get you more information on the Speco Cloud lineup. But what we're looking at here is a very robust line of cloud capable cameras. And what my particular favorite thing is the install of these cameras is very, very simple, especially connecting it to the cloud. All I have to do is install it, plug the camera into a 48-volt PoE switch, power at 12 volts, or give it the network connection. And then there's a QR code on the back of every cloud camera. And all I have to do is pull up my Speco Cloud app, add that device, and you give it a username and password, then that device is online. So very easy to install, very easy to manage. And I'm going to pull up here in 1 second and show you what the end user side of that looks like, and then also what the dealer side of that looks like briefly. Now with the cloud cameras, obviously we have a set rate on what we're charging you. You charge the customer 3 or 4 times more. That's America, right? But that's also the RMR opportunity. There is that our pricing is very, very competitive, very, very low as an industry standard. And what that does for you, and it's not based off of quality of service, it's not based off of anything else except to allow you the ability to increase your margins. Because in this industry, margins are everything, and with RMR, margins are everything. So it has to, what you're making monthly has to make sense for if you have to deal with that account or have service, and then the service to service that account also has to be a pretty simple process. So if we go to your logo here, and Obviously, your logo here is going to be your company information. And this is more of we've done this to show you what yours will look like. So this would be your company information, and everything we do with the dashboard is not to give us clout. We are your partners in this. We are your backup. It is your site. We will sit here and OEM it for you. But what we want your customer to see is you and not us, because we're in the background providing you support. You're the frontline worker. You're the ones that are dealing with it every day. It needs to be your name on there. But also, again, easy access to download our app, again, from the website. If we log in, I've got a few demo locations here. And again, we're not going to go too deep into this today. It's really just an overview of what the end user is going to see on your side. So again, what they're going to see here is, we'll say if it's ABC security, every time they pull up and view their cameras, they're going to see ABC security. So brand recognition sets in, and once somebody pulls up either the app or they pull up the web browser portal, all they're seeing is your name, your name, your name, your name. So that's what Speco really wants to do, is drive home increase your business, increase your brand recognition as we embark on this RMR opportunity with you. So again, with the cloud, easy access to whatever cameras we see here. We have live access into it, 24/7 recording paired with event recording. And I can come on, and again, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but I can come in and filter also based off of any of our advanced cloud AI analytics, as you'll see me scrolling through here. And this is something too that we're continuing to update, and we're continuing to add more analytics to the package. So if you don't see what you're looking for here, which we offer a very robust of options as far as your search criteria, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not on our roadmap. So if you have a question about anything, just look out for us. Also, we have the capability to manage, for that end user to manage the account, set up custom if we want to search based off of certain events. Then the main thing is it's easy for the end user to work with. It's easy for the dealer to install, but it's not more than what you need, if we can put it like that. So this is going to be on the end user side of the cloud. And just to give you, even though this isn't sales, we offer anything from residential. And as I get in, I will show you that as I go into the actual end user login there. So let's go to. So I'm logging into the admin portal of the Speco Technologies cloud service. And again, very easily to use. If you look here on the left, before we dive into anything on the right, we have the ability to be able to manage accounts. And you'll see here that we can easily see what plan they're on. We can manage cameras. If we're creating a new account, this is what we would be doing for end users. You're going to have the capability of saying, okay, how many cameras are on this device or on this account? And then here's all the different options. We don't pare you down to 1, 2, 3 different options. We give you a robust form of options, and not only on personal/residential, but also for a business plan. So we can put you on an activation period, which might be a free 3-day trial, 7-day period, 14/30, and then respectively the same thing from personal to business. So again, we offer up to 90-day storage, very robust options here, and all of these are priced accordingly to their storage rate. So get with sales, we can get you some more information as far as the pricing goes. And then you can also talk to myself or other sales guys and find out what other dealers are charging for their cloud service. But also on the admin portal, we can easily manage accounts. We can manage cameras within those accounts. We can look at the billing history and see how many accounts we have on each plan. We can obviously export that as well too. Edit admin profile, change some admin settings. But again, easy to manage, easy to use. This is going to be on your cloud admin portal. Because again, I said, and I'll say this numerous times, you can be overwhelmed with too many options, too many features when you're only using 30% of them. You know, Speco offers you 50%, but you're going to use 45, 50% of those. It's really about making sure that we focus our resources and time on what is important on the market. And this is what we've done. And you also have mobile app access to this as well. So again, That's the key with offering a cloud service is you have not only the cloud on the web, you have your web browser login, but you also have your mobile app option as well too. Now, if you're not utilizing the dashboard, there are some more healthcare checks and RMR opportunities that we can go into. And to do that, I'm going to actually use my dashboard to get into a recorder. But if we are doing site level monitoring, the dashboard just makes everything real simple for you. Do this. Second, I'm going to pull up a recorder. I'm going to go ahead out. You all are going to lose me for 1 second. All right, I'm back here. Let's refresh this. I guess I'm having some issues here. I think it's 183. All right, so as I'm doing this and fumbling, I'm going to keep talking. 102.168.1.1, and this is technology for everybody. If we're trying to access a recorder remotely, or if I'm actually getting into a recorder, there are different ways to be able to set up your recorder directly, and it's going to be done through the AI. Let me give this one more shot. I'm going to give this one more shot. But if we're into a recorder directly, what we want to do is go into AI and event, and then we're going to set up healthcare checks through IP offline. And my local network does not want to reach anything. But if we set up the IP offline, we do have the capabilities of setting up the SMTP server, just like I can get resourceful here. So I showed you how to set up the healthcare checks in the recorder directly. So if we weren't utilizing the dashboard, we have a customer who still wants to do maintenance on their cameras or recorder level, that's able to be done from a recorder directly. Because when I showed you earlier in the dashboard how to set up using the SMTP server information right here, this is being done directly from the recorder itself. And what we're doing, what it's showing you here is how to set up the SMTP server information. And then also coming down, we're doing it directly from the recorder under AI and event. And then emails, we're adding an email. But we're also able, if we're doing this directly from the recorder and we change this email address here that's going to the dashboard in our example here, then we can send that directly to our company email or a certain technician's email that gives us that notification too. So camera level notifications, recorder level notifications can also be done directly from the recorder without utilizing the dashboard as well. So let's take a second here and see if anybody has any questions at this point. Nope, no questions. It's great. So another form of RMR opportunities is access control, audio. And if we want to move into access control, what we're going to do is we're going to show off our RMC console. And I had a good call with an individual today where we were talking about, what do we do to be able to make our systems less vulnerable to hacking? Let's see if I've got my slide here. off my passwords. I apologize. I'm not sure I've lost all my passwords and it's bad timing. All right, so the RMC license is going to give you the access to be able to access your access control through Windows, Android, iPhone, iPad, or Mac. And this is required to be able to have access, and it is a second level of, because local access is not going to give somebody access from the outside. But through our RMC license, it allows you to be able to manage those sites out in the field, or if we have multiple sites. So again, we have the capabilities of being able to pair our RMC with our access control to be able to give those dealers the ability to be able to say, are my systems working out in the field? But also to be able to, very shortly, we're going to be doing an update to the dashboard as well. And what it's going to allow you to do is really take the place kind of the RMC console. And the RMC console is going to be more of a dashboard feature, to where you have the ability to be able to add access controllers to your dashboard and then see if those devices are online, offline, see how many doors you have, see how many doors are online, offline. And I'm not so much sure about the setting changes from those, but what it's going to do is bring what was from an RMC console. And again, it's not so much about the RMC that I wanted to show you. It's more about talking about the RMC gives you access remotely into all your access control panels, just like the cloud. It wasn't about going through the cloud. It was about talking about, here are the different opportunities. So what opportunities, to recap? We have our RMC console. We have our cloud options. We have our dashboard options. And then we have the capabilities of bundling all this together, right? A lot of people don't utilize Speco audio, right? And we have a lot of stock. We have a great product. We have an easy to use product. But if you're already selling Speco cameras and you're already selling Speco access control, look at Speco audio. And if I were to real quickly come in here and just go to specotech.com, and the reason why I say that too is because I'm seeing a lot of blanket maintenance agreements that cover cameras, audio, access control of Speco. But it's also easier if you are quoting a customer and they are putting in audio, they're putting in video, they're putting in access control. An industry standard is, most people don't want to deal with 3 different manufacturers. They don't want to deal with 3 different consoles. They don't want to deal with 3 different types of systems. They want to call one person if they have problems. That's a huge selling point, is the ability to be able to call one company. One dealer has to call one company to deal with any of your problems out here. And a lot of times it's an easier sell. If I'm looking at a bid and it's got 3 different manufacturers, 4 different manufacturers, and then I'm looking at another bid that has the same products, but from one manufacturer, I'm going to tend to lead towards the one manufacturer for the simplicity of maintenance, service, and general updates moving forward. But real quick on the audio, products, audio, highly recommend spending a few minutes on your own time as far as checking out our audio products. Now, the RMR webinar, as far as where we're at now, we've covered the dashboard, we've covered the cloud, and in the dashboard, we've covered healthcare checks. We have covered hard drive statuses. We've covered camera level health checks. We have covered turning off AI, turning back on AI. We've covered the cloud on the dealer side. We've covered the cloud on the end user side. And we've covered the RMC login on access control. What I want to do now is take a few minutes to say, if anybody is interested in viewing any of our previously recorded webinars. Now, anybody that kind of hops on those webinars, or anybody that's been reoccurring on this, I do appreciate you being on there. You'll know that we are very direct and very focused on what we're covering for that day and time. My time is valuable. Your time is even twice as valuable as mine. So I respect that. So what I want to make sure everybody understands is that when we're referring you to these, it's not just a, hey, go look at this and learn. Any of these topics here, like facial detection and recognition, secure guard dashboard, then I do a few for installer special, speeding up installs, advanced analytics, cloud solutions. For those today that want to know more about the Speco cloud RMR opportunities, but actually say, okay, I think I can sell that. Let me learn a little bit more about the actual product. And that's what I didn't spend a whole lot of time today doing. This is where you'd come in, watch the cloud solutions webinar here. It's going to cover everything from the app access, camera levels, what can we do, and it's about 45 minutes long. Same thing with the mobile app. A lot of dealers want us to send or want me to send, demos of apps. This is what I always send out. I cover live and literally go through every button we have on the app in about 15, 20 minutes. But what it allows you to do, the LPR, the DD1, DD2, learn to leverage RMR opportunities. This is one that we've done previously, like this webinar. And then we've also covered the Secure Guard dashboard in here. And if you want more information about the workings of the dashboard, then you will check that out under the Secure Guard dashboard. And then also our VMS platform. So these are here for you to be able to utilize, and not only for your internal use, but also to send out. This is one we did 2 weeks ago that was really good on facial recognition. And these are the webinars that we really get into and say, okay, now we're going to dig in a little bit deeper. Let's figure out what makes this tick. We pull up live training videos. We pull up live feeds of cameras that are on our demo locations, and I show you how it's set up. I show you what I did to set it up, and then we show you the result of those pre-programmed analytics. A big one here as far as on the dealer side is going to be this install checklist here. Let's see if I have this on my. That's going to be this. It's something that I use in every one of my trainings when I travel or on webinars. I've worked with a dealer to create this because what they wanted to do was they wanted to be able to standardize their installs, right? Because, and I tie this back to the RMR webinar, because RMR on maintenance agreements can be a double-bladed sword. It can be your Achilles heel, as they say. It is very important that installs are standardized, that customer knows how to utilize the system. But also, every return call we make, we're going to start losing money over a period of time. So it's important to make sure that our installers are learning the proper procedures for installing a recorder, making sure they dot the right I's and cross the right T's. And there's not very many of them. So what this is here, and if anybody wants this, I can drop it in, I can send it out. Just put your email address in the chat box and I can send it if you want it. But it's a checklist to go through that when you're doing installs for our recorder, set up your username and password, go through the easy setup. It goes down to emotion recording. And the number one thing you can do to personalize any system is name all your cameras. But it gives you step-by-step instructions on what to do with this customer. And then more importantly, what I can't tell you how much time, what it doesn't get done enough is demo the app to the customer, demo the CMS, or how is that customer going to remote log into that recorder. Don't just put it on their desktop and say, click there, spend 5 minutes to go through them and do that. Because what that's going to do is that's going to cut down on your service time, them calling in saying they don't know how to use this, and then you calling to us. We're here for you all day long, whatever you need. But what we want to do is make sure that we put you out the resources that free up your time. And that's what the name of the game is here. So this is going to be the installer checklist that we came up with here. And if you want to pair this with a good training for your technicians on how to do this stuff, then you would want to come here to our webinars, find the Speco Technologies install checklist, and either play it or share it out for people to watch on their own time. But in this webinar here, what we do is we go through each of these steps one by one in a recorder, so that way you know how to set that up. Let's see here, we got some questions. All right, we've got some interest. All right, where can the videos be found again? So the videos can be found at specotech.com. Let me just keep that there. Under the Learning Center, and then view our previously recorded webinars. That's going to be your first outlet to find them. And I'm going to show everybody some another hidden gem. Didn't mean to close that out. Let's back up. A hidden gem on our website for dealers. Under the support tab, we've recently added our tech support training here. So you have direct access to Tim O'Brien, who's our technical support manager. You have direct access to myself, the national sales trainer, and then also Justin Taylor, who is our product manager. Shortly after they need to update, we also have Brandon Marker, who I want to welcome on. I think he's on this call too. Brandon came on a few weeks back as our access control product manager. So he will be a huge asset to not only Speco, but also to all of you in the field who have access control questions, want to get that demoed. We are seeing a huge increase in sales of access control due to numerous reasons on the market. If you're not familiar with Speco Access Control, either watch one of our webinars, reach out to your sales rep, myself, or Brandon Marker, and we will be happy to set something up for you. Our access control is very easy to use. It is very scalable, and it's sticky. I mean, customers love it, dealers love it. And just like the RMC, we have some things in place to be able to give you an extra level of security for those remote access. Now, it gets a little better too. So you can schedule a meeting with any of us. It'll check our calendars, make sure we're available. If you're having any type of issues that's taken, if it's a higher level issue, if you didn't get the answer you want through tech support, everything happens. And that's why we're here. We're making ourselves available for you because, again, our goal and our drive here at Speco is to be able to free up your time to allow you to be able to make more money. But there's also two more things here. You can chat with tech support by clicking the chat box there. Don't want to do that. And you can directly email tech support there. Also, if you need another link, miss the webinar, you can hit the recorded webinars here, and it's going to take you right back to that access page for the webinar. So what we'll do is if anybody has any questions now about any of the things that we've shown you today, feel free to ask now. I'll stay on for the next probably 3 to 5 minutes here to answer any questions. And I will go ahead once this is done and I will send out that installer checklist to the people that email me. If you do want that sent out to you, just drop your email there in the chat and we look forward to seeing everybody next week.